Targets that are very just like tanky and in your face. If you have something that can like kind of overpower you in that sense, like Soul Reaper can get like just pushed back basically. And so of course Soul Reaper itself doesn't really have a good escape mechanism. And that's where the Lodestone comes in, because I often say it, like Lodestone is amazing with heroes that have like superior damage. So either superior physical damage, superior magic damage, doesn't really matter. And of course you have that like that's so.
Let's get it on.
I think this was more like a comfort pick than anything else.
Okay. So despite some counters possibly being there, still wanting to go that direction and feeling, as you said, comfortable about it. How about the setup, by the way? You got Bubbles and Lodestone both up here. Lodestone in that supporting role. It's got that Orb of Zamos in hand. Sapphire was almost looking like might have been running into a bit of a trap there, but not going to necessarily go too far out, at least just yet. So
yeah, and actually Tundra is pulling with his dog maybe, or at least delaying.
Yep, the girl's going up. That's the idea. So they're going to really make this top lane difficult for Sapphire. Oh, but here we go, actually. Again, Lodestone nearby. Whether or not they know this, you do see the early Reckless Charge going to be coming out, and that'll be the end of it, though. So Legion team, no new chain, not looking to play too aggressive in the end. They were spread out from one another.
Yeah, so one thing that is actually quite nice about the Sapphire is that's like against certain here. Yeah, he is actually pulling, but or delaying this at least. And that means that the Legion side here, I think they're gonna try to block both camps, both the medium and the small camp, body block it, so they cannot like pull the lanes into one of those two camps, which is of course very good. But what's the Sapphire? If she level or gets a shield a couple of levels, you can use that as basically free health, because like it's 70 mana for like 100 HP and a little bit of attack speed, but you can basically spam that quite efficiently. And they're actually in Lodestone a little bit here.
Yeah, they are. Lodestone got Half-Life already. This is only level 1 abilities coming out right now, but obviously Engineer lands a keg that can set up plenty of damage, as you were mentioning, and Lodestone having to respect that at the end. So, yeah, well played there. Oh, middle lane, actually. Tundra could be in trouble. Monkey King, elusive dashing around, dive in the tower. It's not going to be enough damage for the kill, but very close call right there. Midwinter will pop a health potion and survive in the end. You also saw Lodestone sacrificing himself and then teleporting back to the top lane. So still no Bloodlust kill. Bloodlust bounty still there, but yeah, technically the one down so far.
Yeah, one like important aspect here of the Monkey King is that he is very mana starved, right? They used the Lunar tier that he had, I think, already. And he has to buy, he bought like a mana potion right now, so he's gonna try to get a little bit of mana, but he needs 210 mana for his full combo. That's basically his entire mana pool.
It is.
So they went there on the Lodestone, and I think they really kind of should have only gone if they were certain that they were gonna get the kill, you know? Not just for a little bit of a rush, because the Monkey King not having a combo up gives the Tundra a lot of space. It makes it so he can... Oh, yeah.
Bubbles? Bubbles! Close call right there. The take cover used despite the keg. Good job by Lodestone stunning to save his teammate and manages to stay alive. Back to the mid lane. Speaking of going on him, nope. The smackdown top was applied, but no initiation further. Tundra, he will be fine. But yeah, both the top and even this mid lane, top lane especially though, a lot of action taking place. Certainly going to see a death in the near future, it feels like.
Yeah. The Sapphire is farming quad right. Oh, actually, Bubbles.
He might be dead. Oh, well, actually, Sapphire could be dead if he's not careful either. Going to go for the auto attack. Here's to take cover. Bubbles, Engineer's tanking the tower. Now, Engineer's definitely going down, but they kill Bubbles first. So Bloodlust will go the way of Pizdun when it's all said and done. Talk about the aggressive play again, diving past the tier 1 tower. Mid lane. They go back out of Tundra. Tundra, the combos there. You mentioned, though, Monkey King's got a bottle now, so he's got plenty of mana to work with. Tundra has to be careful. Here comes the dive. Any TP support doesn't look like it. The shards ain't going to be enough of a threat. And Monkey King will survive. You see Monarch tanking some tower damage hits, but he will live too. And just like that, a couple of core kills going the way of the Cellboard.
Yeah, and actually the Tundra, don't think we talked about it yet. Tundra decided to not go for something like a buckler, which is a bit surprising because the Monkey King and the Monarch, while like they have a lot of like damage, of course, on the Monkey King, they mainly rely still on a lot of auto attacks because the Monkey King, of course, mainly just has a lot of movement or displacement, I should say. And actually, Lodestone is gonna steal the room, but it might come to cost.
Is it going to? Lodestone? Yeah, very likely. Well, Monarch in pursuit has the crippling pole, but it looks like he's just out of range, so maybe not going to be in trouble in the end. Although, okay, kids, there's the pollen. Yes, he will be. There is the death. What you got on the Monarch? Able to catch up to him, fly him down, and chase the kill. So good job by the supporting cast working together and making that kill happen on Lodestone.
Yep. And this is the weakness of Lodestone lane in general. His Q, like the Rocket Drill, level 1, has 20 seconds cooldown, which is very, very long. It scales down to 14 seconds. But the fact that like that stun has such a long cooldown, while basically every other stun has like more in the range of 12 to 14 seconds, is a big downside.
Now, a lane we haven't talked about is Colic, or more so Soul Reaper down here, but of course being played by Colic. He's paired up with that Rhapsody, going up against Morax. Obviously, Soul Reaper's having a fantastic time. I mean, it's a 2 versus 1 easy lane. Now, Moraxis, to his credit, he stayed alive. He's got full life currently. Not really up there on the CS chart. In fact, only has 8 CS currently now as he gets another one right there. But the tower's also taking a lot of damage, so it's safe to say the Legion is definitely feeling the success of the bottom lane. So maybe the mid lane's not going too well, and even the top lane, but Soul Reaper on the bottom is certainly doing his part.
Yeah, I do, however, like look at the jungle here. Actually, Monkey King is taking some of his own jungle stacks here. Lodestone runs in.
Well, Lodestone will steal actually a good chunk of it. It might cost him his life. So it's one of those, was it worth it? I don't know. Gonna try to get killed by the neutrals? No, we cannot get close enough. That's not We'll chase him down. So, yeah, a bit of a takeaway by Lodestone, deterrent, but in the end, Monkey King's like, all right, fine, I'll kill you instead.
Yeah, a bit of like I think the even trade, because the Monkey King still got quite a lot of that. But where I'd say the Hellborn side has actually been very diligent with these stacks. I'm looking at the Legion jungle, and I'm noticing a severe lack of stacks, which you would really rather have for the Soul Reaper. You kind of want the medium camp and the hard camp to be triple stacked the moment that Soul Reaper gets level 7, so you can just run there and flash farm it. And I don't... Oh, actually, Lodestone running in again.
Yeah, this is curious. Obviously, he knows that they're doing these the stacks here. They do have vision here even, but with the smoke eventually going to be taken out, and he's not going to go much further. So really just kind of playing curious, seeing what's going on. But yeah, this is something, though. It's the Soul Reaper is pushing the secondary tower now by himself against Moraxis, and there so far is really no reaction just yet by the Hellborn. I mean, now he's going to start falling back slightly, but what I'm getting is definitely curious that both teams are fairly content on what's happening down here. It's almost like what's her name? LDWAA is not really concerned that Soul Reaper is going to be the biggest issue when it's all said and done.
No, and I don't think they are, or they are like on the timer here necessarily. Of course, it depends on how well this Soul Reaper is going to perform in these team fights. But you of course have two cores farming here on both the Sapphire and the Monkey King.
Right.
And also quite notably is that the rest of the Legion team is not really getting anything. So if you're just playing against a Soul Reaper, I think you are very much capable of actually just kind of bursting him down. Actually, Tundra picked up an Invis rune, but they should have seen this. It's a good word from what you got there.
They clearly did. Moraxis is falling back. Volka's like, yep, I'm just going to hug this tower because we see you coming. So what I was going to say to that point is, yeah, you have Tundra level 7 now. He's got Striders of Blood Chalice. This is exactly what you would expect out of a Tundra. Midwinter, certainly as a player, he's going to just start roaming around now and seeing what they can make happen. This is the obvious strategy that is being ran by Noah Newgen. They got kind of this 4-1, as they usually tend to, around
Oh
the
wait,
Soul Reaper.
Monkey King, look at this, look at this.
Doing the stack. If he could take some damage here, and he is. Oh no, Monkey King could be in trouble. It's just a matter of waiting for the right moment. There we go. He feels like he finds it. The shards come out. Is it enough damage? The Couriel spawned. Oh, gonna use the elusive dash. Heavily ball jumping around. Here is Monarch nearby as well, and Shell Surf coming on the cup for the last second. Nice job at the save by Monarch, putting him under. It's a 2 versus 2 battle for this ages, but it will be a kill on Monkey King when it's all said and done, and Monarch likely gonna fall as well. What you got? Flapping those wings, trying to fly away. The Shell Surf Connect eventually goes down. Now the TP out from Tundra. Suddenly Lodestone is left by himself, as he came here pretty damn late, but maybe get killed by the neutrals? No, at least his done will take him out there. But bottom lane, while that's happening, look at this tier 2 tower touch. It is at a third of its life. It's almost dead here as they're pushing it.
Yeah, and like the Soul Reaper just wasn't really under any pressure because, or like he didn't need to play defensive because the top lane was basically always showing. The Monkey King was just kind of farming stacks in jungle. So the moment they knew where the Monkey King was, the Soul Reaper was basically safe, right? And this early, like these early 2 towers is actually a huge boost of, or a huge like influx of money for the rest of his team that they badly needed. Because they have been suffering, right? Or they had been suffering. But suddenly you look at the GPM charts now, and that's a Tundra at 370 GPM. That does not look like a Tundra that has been dual lane middle, but of course a lot of that is actually the 2 towers there and 1 kill on the Monkey King there. So we see the Soul Reaper like kind of finishing the stacks now. The Rhapsody did actually get some stacks in.
Yeah. There we go.
But the Monkey King is still doing very well. Actually going in.
So I was going to say, okay, Tundra is actually in trouble right here. So we're running over, though, with the Rhapsody. It looks like they're going to catch Engineer. We're going to see our first demonic execution of the game. And call like another auto attack to finish the job there. But yeah, as you're mentioning, I was talking about that. They're doing the stack, massive stack. The Soul Reaper's GPM now up to 535. And the way he was pooling gold upwards of 3,000, I kind of figured this would be the case, but just to make sure, he does get the Sword of the High. So it is going to be that Mock of Brilliance. Because yeah, I was actually going to be asking that earlier, but probably the safe assumption as he is playing that position 1, getting a lot of good farm. Mock of Brilliance does feel like it's going to be fantastic this game as well.
Yeah, and I think like if you're playing a solo core Soul Reaper, which this is, I would say, I think the Mock of Brilliance is kind of the only option almost. Now, what I am a little bit curious about is like what they're going for next. And actually, we see 2 people smoking up here.
Oh, this is big, yeah. How about this? They're making a play on LDWAA side. Monkey King finds the low Soma Sapphire out of position. The cup of the blow up. No, the shot at the last second. He's in trouble though. The takeover, he's going to go down. When it's all said and done, Rhapsody, beautiful save on Soul Reaper. It's mitigating plenty of damage. Now Soul Reaper can start turning. No demonic execution. Meanwhile up here though, energy field placed down as catches Tundra. But he's more than fine. It's already 2-4-1 in favor of Noah Newgen. And Kolek being the player that he is, it's like, all right, guys, back to farm immediately. Goes back to stack. But I go back. This is something we saw. We're so impressed by watching this team last weekend. Is that a kill? Yeah, it is. Soul Reaper catches up to the Engineer and finds him for the kill. So well played there with the Avalanche. But it's just the constant stacking. They are so good at stacking for Kolek and allowing him to just farm them so efficiently.
Yeah, and we see like a notable deviation in the game plan of the Hellborn team here, where at first they seem to be very content with just farming and farming and farming. They gotten to a point, and I'm not sure like what that point necessarily was, like item or level wise, but they suddenly was like, okay, no more messing around. We're going to go on the offensive now. But it felt a little bit uncoordinated. Like the Engineer wasn't at the start of the fight there. The Sapphire was kind of the one to run in first into the Soul Reaper there. And the Sapphire, of course, has that ultimate, the Crystallize, which is a 4-second stun, more or less. But they are completely like invulnerable during that time. and it's more like a delay ability than an actually like an initiation ability. So he wasn't like, he saw him hesitate like what to do there, because he didn't really want to use the crystallize to allow his team to get close, because then of course like the enemy team would also start getting close and position themselves. And if the engineer was a lot closer, they could just like, oh actually top lane.
They're trying to commit, but the TPs are coming in. Morax is getting there very late. I don't know about this. He's going to put the stun maybe on the TPs, but yeah, he got there really late at this point. As you also see, Sapphire putting the crystal down, and more supported Cassie and Monkey King joining the party late, but Monkey King gets eviscerated there. Monarch is going to end up being killed as well. Morax is like, yeah, this did not go as planned. A double tap for Esperanza on the Lodestone. They finished with a hat trick, actually. That's SRP, excuse me, with the hat trick on Bubbles. Lodestone barely surviving, but, you know, again, playing support, he definitely did his job. I mean, kind of to your point that you were just saying with the previous fight, the coordination, it seems a little off from the side of LDWAA. I mean, that right there, diving a Bubbles at the tier 1 when TPs were clearly ready, they committed a little too much there.
Yeah, and like I will say, of course, like a lot of the European players specifically, they have the luxury of never really playing with high ping and stuff. So it's definitely like maybe the case of them just not being that used to playing with like 200 ping, because it's definitely like not a super big handicap, but it's something that you have to adjust for in your gameplay, actually. And I see that like a little bit here and there where they don't really seem to be able to do that, or I see like mistakes that can be attributed to like a little bit of delay or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it's something that you kind of just know going into the event that is still dealing with a bit, as much as technical advances have come a long way and allowing for this to even be possible. There is no secret and doubt about it. I mean, obviously you're playing on a latency that is a higher than you're used to. And it kind of goes to heroes like Engineer. You know, we talked about him. Yeah. It's a hero that goes down the tier list when you are dealing with higher ping for obvious reasons. I mean, Kegstad, as powerful as it is, if you're dealing with these hiccups and, you know, a little bit more latency, then that's a bit more difficult to hit at times. So,
and the
again,
actually.
Not to put excuses, just to be clear, not to put excuses here by any means for the Hellborn side and give them excuses and ammunition necessarily, but it is a fact.
Yeah, like the hero that's actually like the most like that, I'd say, as they're hunting for the Sapphire.
Yeah, they are.
Is the Bubbles, of course. Like Bubbles is so reaction dependent. Oh.
Yeah, that's Demonic Execution was very early, but we've seen him use it a couple times like that, more for the stun initially to just set up the kill. And again, yeah, that's a case of what is going on. I mean, it's one thing for them to kill the Sapphire, but Monkey King, I just don't get it. Why commit there?
Oh, Monarch middle.
Monarch's dead.
Yeah, that's the puzzle box.
This Tundra's going off now.
Yeah, I don't know if like the Sapphire. I don't think Sapphire had a teleport or something. I think he teleported somewhere. Was kind of like stuck behind the tower there and couldn't get out. And then they wanted to try and help him. And like so, all the European players here, they should basically not really have a ping issue. The one guy maybe a little bit unfortunate is of course what you got. Because this is like a server based in Dubai, I believe, or something.
Yeah. And
he is like on the opposite, literal opposite place of the world. So he is the only one that actually can has any reason to complain here. The rest of them definitely should not.
Either way, it's again, it's a topic that, you know, we all know exists, but at the same time, this is they're playing clean right now and no new genocide. And this is a team that we saw many times last weekend. Obviously, they were bounced down to the lower bracket by Vinicius. We'll talk about that a little bit later on too. But right now here in Game 1 of these loser bracket finals, they are in total control. I mean, this Soul Reaper is nearly 700 gold per minute. Colic, this is a place that we're very familiar seeing him. We saw the Mocker Brilliance early. He went the Shamans, and he has 3,100 gold saved up. So I guess we could play the game Dutch of like, what does Soul Reaper go for next with all this gold? What are we thinking?
So my best guess is still going to be like Grimoire power. The cooldown reduction, of course, is just insane. And your Q. Oh, actually, it's a heart. Okay, I stand corrected. Yeah, I think like heart is really good pickup here. Probably even better than Grimoire, because you just stand in front with your W and your Mach, and that's it. Everything around you is just going to die.
Well, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. Especially this early on in the game. I think this is one of these cases, too. We're having to remind myself even, we're not even 20 minutes into this game, Dutch. And he is on his way to finishing a heart with that Mach ability. So, obviously, this earlier on, he's going to have nearly 2,000, around 2,000 HP at about 20, 21 minutes into this game. That's absurd to have on here. And they kill Conqueror, by the way. You know, they're Legion Conqueror. They immediately team Smoke. And hunting for kills now is no new gen.
Yeah, and this is just them applying pressure, taking objectives. They've been, like, the early towers that they took together. Oh, Monkey King.
Yeah, he's trying. He's going to be able to get away, it looks like. So good catch up at Lowstone using that recently purchased portal key of his, but they don't get the Monkey King. They're like, all right, fine, we'll take a tier 2 objective. We're just fine with that. You mentioned Grimoire. I mean, that was finished on Bubbles several minutes ago as well. So even Bubbles, who was having a difficult start, he is now higher farm than anyone in the Help Warden team at this point.
Yeah, and that is, of course, like a Bubbles that was initially struggling, right? And this Bubbles, he had very little on the top lane. He was actually getting completely boxed out because the Lodestones didn't really support him much in that lane situation because, well, Lodestone's just not that strong of a laner. But these team fights have been consistently, like, feeding him gold by him just getting the kills here and there. And yeah, that's just like down to the good coordination of these guys in the team fight. And I'm actually, like, one of the things I am kind of realizing right now as well is that maybe a big part of this is also the Tundra birds. Actually, engineer.
Yeah, that's one of those things, as a spectator, it's like, not that we forget about it, but it's a little more difficult for us to understand the power it really is bringing to the table. But yeah, the Tundra Bird, the vision that it's constantly giving is always fantastic. They're going to kill the other Conqueror now, and we know what that, just even that much more boost here for no new gen.
And Lodestone is on a mission.
He really is. He's trying to find something.
I think he was just trying to ward there, but didn't quite get it off. No, but so I think, like, I talked about it with Sunkpop a little bit as well after we casted, basically, right? The last few games of your last week.
Yeah.
And it was like he said something that's very true. Like, it's if the enemy has a Tundra Bird, you never know whether they had vision or whether it was a Tundra Bird getting vision.
That guessing game as here we go, Kelfoot initiation in the background. Engineer barely alive. He will remain alive for the time being. Moraxis jumps in. A chance perhaps? Never mind. As Moraxis just evaporates as soon as he jumps in. This Monkey King, I mean, he would have barrier idle a Monkey King, and that kind of shows you the game state right now. Just trying to get any kind of sort of survivability because he's going in and just dying immediately, it feels like. There's still the token on Colic, not that it's even necessary. I'm almost surprised they gave it to Soul Reaper, but it doesn't even matter. GG, well played is called. This is game 1 of the lower bracket finals, a 22-minute victory. I mean, the laning phase was certainly going both ways. I mean, LDWAA had 2 cores, both Sapphire and Monkey King had a good start. They never addressed the Soul Reaper, though, and I know that's maybe just the simplest way to put it, but Colic made them pay.
Yeah.